After Friday's reveal of each of the elite specs, there's one that is the fan favorite, and that is the Galeshot. Everybody loves the idea of actually being a hunter, a marksman, while being a ranger, and this bow really gives the fantasy to ranger in the perfect way, with a very good amount of flashy abilities and a huge bow to use them with. But how's it gonna work, and will it be OP, or will it just look pretty? Let's talk about it. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to see more content. Go to my Twitch to watch me live every morning, and let's get into it. In this video, we're gonna go through all of the traits, utilities, and how they interact with each other. But first, let's go for the first introduction of this spec. Well, it looks like it works pretty simple, at least on the surface. You have a special ability, your F5, that you can see in the middle. You press it, and this will unlock you a new abilities. Each of these abilities will use this 8 arrows that you have, and the more time passes, the more arrows you will replenish. Also, each time you actually use your abilities, you will be getting yourself this wind force that will allow you to get a special attack at the end. So the gameplay loop is pretty simple. You build your arrows, you use them, you get 5 stacks of wind force, and you use your special ability with it, called Hawkeye. You can see your Hawkeye right here. It's this little like owl icon over here. And I'm not gonna lie, this might be one of the funniest icons for abilities ever made. Like, I don't know what the... Look how it's looking, and you're like, what? I need an emote for my Twitch for this. Oh my god. Regardless, let's go back into the analysis. Hawkeye is a pretty good ability. Release a hail of arrows towards your target and enemies nearby them, giving you super speed as well. You can see the animation right here. It's very, very fast, and there's a lot of damage done with this ability. It looks pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. Now, of course, you can only use this whenever you get 5 stacks of the arrows. Normally, it would just be an auto attack, shoot a wind arrow, that's it. Now, this ability seems pretty good. The fact that it gives you super speed, it's actually very useful as well, because of a lot of interactions that this spec will have with swiftness, with super speed, and the amount of movement speed you have on your character, making you do more damage and other effects. But we'll get there at the end. The second is going to be Bluster, release a rapid volley of arrows. It's a pretty chill ability, as you can see here. You just shoot a lot of arrows, and it gives you 1 for the buff of the Hawkeye, and it costs you 1 arrow. All the ones that we're going to talk about will cost you 1 arrow, unless there's one exception, but we'll talk about that later. The next one is Fleeting Seafarer. Jump back, releasing a blast of wind that destroys incoming projectiles. Now, this is a bit more interesting. You jump back, you do a little attack, you evade for half a second, so you're, evading, you're invulnerable for like half a second, so you can use this for your advantage in Warpers World and PvP, not only as an attack, but also as a defensive, and you also will cripple your enemy, making it harder for them to get to you. Pretty chill ability, but also looks pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie. The animation, the little circle there, the little sapphire, if you will, it looks very awesome, and I really like the whole wind effect and theme of the entire spec. It just looks great. Quarter Sparrow, fire a volley of arrows into the air, immobilizing enemies when they land. Pretty easy to understand. It also costs you 2 arrows. It's gonna be the typical attack of you shoot arrows in the air and they fall on your enemies. Typical ranger marksman idea that you see in other games. It has an okay animation, not super insane, but it is very, very useful, as you will indeed get your enemies immobilized. And after evading back, you can use this attack to prevent them from getting to you. And it has 5 targets too, so you can just do it on a lot of people. The 5th attack is Supersonic Arrow. Supercharge an arrow with wind magic and then launch it at an incredible speed. This skill grants you additional wind force. Now, this one is also very interesting. It'll cost you 3 arrows instead of 1, but it will give you 2 wind force, 2 stacks, readying you up for your Hawkeye. It will also do CC, it will pierce, so let's say that there's an enemy here and there's an enemy here. If you pass through the first one, it'll pierce through it and attack the second one too. It's an unblockable attack too, and it has an awesome animation, as you can see right there. It's impossible to dodge. It has a cast time though, so you're gonna have to, if you see someone, a Galeshot against you, attacking you with this and charging something up, yeah, be scared, because you're not gonna be able to dodge it. It's too fast, it's unreactable. Just stop them before they do it. It reminds me a little bit of the 3 on Bladestorm. It has, I think it's the same animation actually, just with different colors. And there you go. Those are all the abilities you have in your special bow. They look pretty awesome. They have a lot of flavor and they have a very good gameplay loop. You use them to do damage, maybe some of them situationally to CC to prevent yourself from dying by evading, like your 3, to do AoE damage, and then use your Hawkeye to just do a lot of damage once you have your 5 stacks. Now let's go through the traits to see how they pair up with what we just saw. The mana traits, the ones that you will always have. Bird of Prey, strike damage is increased when you have swiftness or super speed. Swiftness is more effective. This means that when you are moving and you have swiftness, your normal movement speed will be bigger than when you normally have swiftness on this spec. And this means that also you're gonna be doing more damage. 10% increased damage actually. So you want to have swiftness or super speed at all times. Obviously, we just saw that there's certain, specifically the Hawkeye, that doesn't give you super speed, so this whole spec is gonna want to be fast, to be moving around a lot, and of course you have super speed or swiftness as well. The next one is gonna be Jetstream. Your base movement speed is increased. Hawkeye grants super speed. Well, this is the reason why Hawkeye gives super speed, but I just wanted you to know that it is, so you don't miss it with this little trait. And of course you have a base movement speed on it too. You just walk faster, even without swiftness, even without super speed. I'm telling you guys, this spec in PvP, it's probably gonna break the game. Range, insanely fast, a lot of immob, cripple. Yeah, it's gonna be a disaster. I mean, guys, just think about this. You're in PvP, you're trying to get yourself a node, and there's a Galeshot. You try and kill him, they push you back. Their range, you're trying to get to them, you get crippled, you get immobilized. They're moving like a maniac because they have super speed and swiftness. And finally you get to them. Boom, they press longbow 3, they go in stealth, they leave, go to node, capture it, and there's no way you can actually catch up to them. It's gonna be absolutely an insane spec for PP, and it may completely break up the mode, okay? Now let's go for the traits that you actually choose. Joy of Movement. Squalls remove movement impairing conditions. So the squalls are gonna be the utilities we're gonna talk about later on, but this is the only one that affects them. So don't worry about them too much. It's just, hey, if you need condition removal, probably in a World vs. World PvP situation, pick this, get yourself some squalls, and you're gonna get that. Feel the Rush. Movement skills grant you swiftness and endurance. This is also probably a PvP World vs. World trait, as most likely in a PvE scenario you're gonna have swiftness at all times because there's a lot of boons in PvE. It's just so you get that beautiful Bird of Prey buff from damage, and of course makes you go faster all the time. And he also gives you more endurances. So you're gonna be able to dodge more. The cool thing about this is that this is gonna be very good in PvP because there's a lot of movement skills that you have on Ranger with your weapons. You have your swoop here with Greatsword, you have your sword jump as well, you have your spear jump, you have your hammer 5 as well. There's a lot of things you can do to actually move around and get yourself swiftness at all times in a World vs. World or PvP scenario. So this trait really seems very good in those cases. Next one is Wuthering Wind. Damage nearby enemies with a gust of wind. This is just, hey, you do more damage. When you use Bluster, your number 2 on your Galeshot, this one right here, you'll do more damage. That's literally what it is. Nothing more to it. This is obviously the PvE option. The thing about Galeshot is this is not a support. It's just you do DPS. You can give quickness, as we'll talk about later, but it's just a DPS. A DPS or a quickness DPS. There's nothing more to it. There's no support. There's no reason to go into those things. The only other traits we're gonna see are gonna be PvP or vs. World ones, which is completely fine. I actually find it a little bit funny because usually I would go and make a little build for you guys for PvE and one for DPS and one for healer. But in this case, we can't really do that. So instead, we're gonna use blue to create a PvE build and red for a PvP build. All the traits that you would use in these kind of scenarios. So this two would indeed be red, as they can be used in PvP mainly, and this one would be blue. Now let's see where we can get them to. The next one is Avian Pets have increased strike damage and health. Beast skill grants quickness around the ranger. So this is gonna be the PvE quickness trait. If you wanna spec into DPS quickness, you wanna use this, so you permanently just, hey, your pet's gonna be using their skills just passively, and you're gonna give quickness to your allies. Obviously, this is gonna be a PvE focused trait. That being said, this quickness will be replaced in competitive modes to something else, as they don't like you giving quickness to everyone else. So I guess you would go for the damage increase and your health increase. I'm not sure if I see that as being very useful. It probably will give you some other boon, maybe Fury, so you could go for that for a more aggressive build for PvP, but we'll have to see what they actually replace it with, because I don't think they said it. I might be wrong about that though. The next one is fire a belt of arrows into the air, damaging enemies when they land. So this replaces your Quarry's Peril, and that one costed you 2 arrows, and this one will cost you 1. So this will be easier for you to do, and it will remove the immobilize. This seems very bad for PvP, like the main ability, the main point of that ability is to immobilize your target, so I don't think you would ever pick this. But for a PvE rotation, I could see this being actually pretty good. You actually get yourself 2 of these abilities now, so you can just spam them and generate more Hawkeye. So I think you would definitely go for this for the full DPS build, instead of the quickness build, as you can see here. And the last one, restore arrows when you swap pets. This seems to be the one that you would use for PvP, right? You want more arrows in order to use your Galeshot more and use the abilities of the Galeshot more, so you want to pick this in PvP to be able to do this and swap around with your pets to use them accordingly. This, the flock together, could maybe be there, but I don't see it. Unless they keep the quickness. If they keep the quickness, then yeah, you probably would go for here, because giving AoE quickness is insane in PvP and Warwar's World, but we'll have to see. The next one is Cloudburst on your Grandmaster traits. Quarry's Peril and Supersonic Arrow reset the cooldown of Bluster. When you use Bluster of Hawkeye or Hawkeye, grants boons to nearby allies. Quickness, of course, as you can see here. So this obviously is going to be the one you take if you want to provide quickness with your Galeshot. I don't see why else you would take this. It's going to pair up with this. The only reason why you would go for this is for the quickness build. And it's kind of cool because it gives you a different type of gameplay for your Galeshot. Now, you don't press buttons willy-nilly, you just go in there, use your Bluster to give quickness to everyone, then use 4 and 5 to reset your Bluster and give quickness again. So Bluster, Quarry's Peril, Bluster, Supersonic Arrow, Bluster, Hawkeye to give quickness again, as we saw is part of the trait, Bluster again. So there's a very particular rotation in the way that this works. I'm a big fan of the specs in the way that they do traits. Yeah, sometimes they give alacrity or quickness and you're kind of forced to take them, but even when you do, the gameplay changes by a lot. The rotation changes, the way that you play the spec changes, and that is such a cool thing that they've learned from doing the spears from last year in Jantha Wilds. Very good job, Arenet. I really like this type of design. I hope the rest of the specs also have it. Next one, Gale Force. Wind Force grants a stacking, increasing movement speed and damage. When you use Hawkeye, convert this into a stronger bonus for a duration. So this is the DPS one as well. No more quickness, but instead DPS. I should have done 2 colors. One for quickness and one for DPS. Let's do that actually. And I'll put green for quickness, guys. There you go. That's easier to see. Quickness DPS, normal DPS. There it is. This also changes the way that you play it a lot. You want to use your Hawkeye and instantly leave your Galeshot bow to go into your normal weapon and burst, so you can get that big percentage of damage for those 10 seconds and use it, right? And then you go back into Galeshot bow and then just do it again. But it's very cool. I also like the fact that it gives you a lot of movement speed, making it very useful, yeah, for PvP, because now you're gonna have a huge boost of movement speed when you have your Wind Force stacking up to getting your Hawkeye, and of course afterwards as well. This is gonna be so useful, and I don't see that you would pick anything else. Now the third trait though, this one is so awesome, and it may be one of the most popular ones. This one is Strike. Conjured arrows strike your targets. Strike. After a number of missile hits, release a volley of arrows at your target and gain an arrow. So any arrow that you do will get you more arrows. So any missile, any arrow attack, it'll give you more arrows, preventing you from having to leave your Galeshot mode. You just can stay there forever. No need to go into your normal weapon. No need to care about this mechanic. You want to just press all the buttons in your Galeshot and get benefited from them. That is such a cool idea, because it kind of reminds me of the whole pistol Deadeye. You know, you just press 3, you're shooting your pistol and doing nothing else, but you get all the benefits, and it's just chill, it's fun. Who cares? It's probably not going to be the biggest DPS that you can do, and you shouldn't, but it's going to be chill, and you're going to still be able to help your teammates even if you're not doing the most insane of damage, at least in PvE. I would not see anyone bring this in competitive modes, but in PvE it's going to be the lazy spec, the lazy trade, the fun trait, and hopefully it doesn't do like too bad, but I think it'll be very, very fun, and I'm really excited to just go into my Galeshot bow and never leave. I'm guessing you're just gonna, you know, if you want to go for that build, you would just go like here, right? And then you just do this, right? Fetch doesn't really make a lot of sense because you don't care about arrows anyways, so boom. Just get the most amount of damage passively, and then you just go into your strike. And this will be the builds that I would go for. Red for PvP, blue for DPS, green for quickness DPS, and yellow for I want to be a Galeshot bow and nothing else. Now let's go for the squalls. We talked about them because there's a trait that makes them remove your condis, but are they good? Would you actually use any of this? Well, let's go for them. So first one, you have the healing one. Call upon a gentle wind to heal and grant super speed to you and your pet. This is kind of useful. It removes 2 conditions and it gives you super speed. Super speed, as we said before, will indeed be giving you some bonus damage and also will make you faster, which is nice in this spec. I don't see myself taking this in PvE. There are other heals that are way better. Unless you really want super speed for yourself for some reason, I don't really see it. Piercing Gales, Squalls, conjure a barrage of wind to cut through your target. Deal increased damage against vulnerable foes. The wind will fly faster when you have swiftness or super speed. This is just an ability that does damage. It's an AoE ability, you can see it right here. It targets a lot of enemies and it's very cool looking. But the cool thing about this one is that if you have swiftness, it goes faster. So if you're in a PvP situation, in a roaming situation, you can be like, oh, I'm attacking with this. Oh, are you gonna dodge it? Are you gonna dodge it? And then, boom, you use swiftness. It's faster than they actually are accustomed to. And then, boom, they get hit. Pretty cool ability. I won't really see this being used in PvE. Unless it's like an insane amount of damage. But I read out. The next one is Mistral. Summon a current of chilling northern air. Projectiles that pass through the current become frozen, chilling, and dealing additional damage to enemies. This one is so cool looking. Well, it's gonna come in here right now. Wait, there it is. Look at that. Just reflective wall from Guardian, but in Ranger. And in this case, it doesn't reflect. Instead, it enhances your missiles, right? They become chilly and they do more damage. Very cool RP effect. Very cool aesthetic. Very awesome. It could be very useful in PvE if it just a very good amount of damage and you just want to place it there and just absolutely blast with your bow. I could see it being good, but it will depend on how much damage it actually gives you and what other utilities you want to have on this build. On PvP, I could see it being good for the chilled effect. It is a little bit random. I'm not sure if the chilled is right. Maybe like I feel like would grapple will make more sense, but I guess it makes sense because it's a squall and it's some wind, and wind is chilly, so that's why it exists. Next one is Wind Shear, and this one is the Reflect. Wind swirls around you, knocking back nearby enemies and reflecting incoming projectiles. CC, Gunbreak, Reflect missiles, and it is also a knockback, so you can use this as a very, very good defensive. People are coming to you, you wanna get away, get away. Boom, use it to knock them back and reposition. Also, the Reflect is cool and the effect of it is cool. Very situational, but that's about it. Next one is Whirlwind. Launch yourself forward with powerful gust of wind. Gives you super speed and is an evade. And guess what? It is a movement skill too. So if you have the trait, it will also give you swiftness. I guess it's kind of who cares because you're already getting super speed from this anyways. But there you go. It counts as an evade as we talked about before, and you get 2 of them. This in PvP is going to be very, very useful to move around, to evade something, to get away from enemies, cripple them, and be able to attack them again without getting attacked yourself. Also, it just looks cool. And the last one is Perfect Storm. Release a massive tornado launching enemies. It strikes as it travels. When the tornado reaches its destination, it will persist for a period, dealing damage to enemies inside of it. A lot of CC, a lot of damage, and a lot of badassery in the effect too. Look at that tornado just attacking everyone. Oh! Looks so awesome. It just seems very good in team fights. It probably would be very good in certain War vs. World situations, especially because of the knockback. In PvE, I'm not sure if we really would take it because you have strength for the pack or whatever that just gives so much damage. So I don't know, but it's a pretty cool ability. I will say I'm not sure if I'm like that enamored with these squalls. They're not that useful. I think they're all for like PvP situations, which is fine. I just don't see myself using them in PvE. They're just such good other utilities in Ranger. You have Sikkim to do more damage. You have Protect Me to get protection and Stun Break and get Barrier. You have Quickness Zephyr to give yourself quickness and super speed and Stun Break. You have your signets, you have your traps. I just don't see myself picking one of the squalls. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy though. I'm not a PvP main either. This is just my quick little judgment thought. Let's just go thought. But my quick little thought and critique of this squall. They look pretty cool though, and I really love Galeshot. So, well, I'm not really gonna complain that much.